So we have to cover Tesla stock. Now, my last video, I covered why Tesla stock fell down after Investor Day, although Investor Day was very bullish for the longevity of Tesla, but it started coming down. But then Friday, we ended up seeing Tesla go up, but it wasn't just Tesla that went up. It was the overall S&P 500. So why did the overall market start trending upwards? Well, part of it is due to some, words that we had from the Fed president of the Atlanta Bank, which is, Raphael Bostic. Now, he said the Fed needs to raise its policy rate by 50 basis points to a range of 5% to 5.25% and hold it at that level well into 2024. Now, those weren't the words that sparked a bunch of optimism in the market. What really sparked a bunch of optimism in the market was when he said he believes that once the central bank pauses raising rates, it should hold them there, adding he expects the Fed will be in a position by mid to late summer to pause interest rate hikes. Now, this sparked a bunch of optimism and bullishness for the overall market because obviously, as the Fed is hiking rates, well, guess what that does? That makes the stock market less attractive. Why? Because money is harder to borrow. Now companies are not going to be able to grow as they once were. So we see like a contraction in the market when, the Feds hike the interest rates. It's just the cycle of the market. What happens when they do that, right? We see this time and time again throughout history. However, the idea that they're going to be pausing makes, investors and market participants believe, well, we're getting closer to the pivot, which means that once they start pausing, that's just, a closer date to when they start actually reducing and, cutting interest rates, which is very bullish. Now, here's the thing that I want to cover with you guys. So this is Raphael Bostic. Looks like a decent guy, right? Nothing bad what he's saying, right? Everything's good. However, there's something that you absolutely have to really consider, right? And that is the fact when you actually look into the structure of how the FOMC operates, you're going to notice something, right? So you're going to notice that Raphael Bostic is a non-voting district, meaning he does not actually have a say in, what terms go into the monetary policies. Right now, I don't want to, just take away from the fact that in 2024, when it rotates, right, he is going to have a vote. However, what year are we in, right? We're in 2023. So whatever he says, it's not that it's irrelevant because obviously, these are conversations happening from central bankers. However, at the end of the day, we have to absolutely pay attention to who does have a voting say in what happens in the monetary policy decisions, and ultimately the end decision comes from Papa Jerome. So the premises of what I'm saying is that the overall market is trading up higher based on a bunch of hopeism that the Fed president of the Atlanta Bank is saying when he doesn't even have a voting say for monetary policies. So that's something you really want to think of. Now also, if we look straight into the price action for Tesla, right, if we look at the volume profile, which is, the volume by price, we see that there's a lot of volume in the area that we're at. Now, I mentioned this in previous videos that in order for Tesla to go up higher, we need to see Tesla break above this area. Now, how can Tesla break above this area? With some catalyst news or some good news coming out for Tesla or what's going on with the overall market. And so it's going to be difficult to break above that unless we have some really good news. Now, for those of you guys wondering, yes, I'm bullish on Tesla on the long term, right? I do have exposure to Tesla in my long-term portfolio. Of course, I think Tesla is going to do well, but what I'm saying in this video is in the short term, we have to be a little bit careful. Why? Well, because we have a very big eventful week or a couple of weeks coming up, right? And so I want to show you guys some of the eventful weeks coming up that we absolutely have to pay attention to because you have to look at several different data points. So first on the list, we have March 9th where we have initial claims, and then March 10th where we have the unemployment rate. Now, this is severely impactful for the overall market. Of course, the jobs, the JOLTS opening is important, but the reason why unemployment is important is because the Federal Reserve has two mandates, right? To have price stability and maximum employment. However, one of the big issues is that when you have maximum employment, right, what tends to happen is that you have inflation rise up because of service inflation, right? Because the more people are working, the more people are spending, which causes inflation to go up. And so the Fed's job is to really find an equilibrium, which is why, when you look at something like the Phillips curve, it really explains it really well. So when you have low unemployment, which the red dot I drew is, at the low end, that contributes to high inflation. Now, when you have, high unemployment, well, inflation tends to go down because people are not spending. It's just a basic economic Phillips curve model, right? Now, another date that we have to pay attention to is March 14th, because this is a CPI. Now, we know that the Federal Reserve looks at PCE, which is very similar to CPI, so they don't really look at CPI, but let's be real, they're both virtually the same. They're just calculated differently. And so the CPI is going to tell us where inflation is. And so if we don't see inflation ticking down, well, this is going to wreak havoc, because guess what? On March 22nd, the FOMC rate decision happens. This is where Papa Jerome Powell comes out and he says, hey, this is what we're doing. And then we also listen to what he says for the future, right? And so this is probably the most volatile date. And so if we don't have good economic data coming out, well, it's going to be difficult for Tesla to break above that shelf of volume by price, and we could possibly see Tesla fall down further, which is, something that I just want to have you guys be very cautious of. Now, real quick, for those of you guys that made it this far in the video, if you could just do me a quick favor and just gently tap that like button, as it really does help support the channel. But more importantly, I just want to highlight, some things going on with Tesla. Now, as I mentioned earlier, yeah, I'm, long-term bullish on Tesla. I have exposure to Tesla. I think, they're just doing something that's revolutionary to the auto industry. So this is something that we're not seeing, or we haven't seen before. But just on the short term, right? Because obviously that's my thoughts on Tesla in the long term. But in the short term, with everything coming out, with this macroeconomic data that's going to be coming out in this week, right? Or in the next couple of weeks, right? We have a lot of things coming out. We're definitely going to have a lot of volatility. And so this is why, I just really want to cautious those who are, short-term trading Tesla. Because I know a lot of individuals that watch my videos, they're either, long-term bulls for Tesla, or they also trade Tesla short-term, as, there's a lot of opportunity. I participate in both markets, both long-term investing and also short-term trading. Definitely not recommended for everyone to short-term trade, but recommended for everyone to long-term invest, right? So that's just my opinion. Of course, you should always do whatever you see value in. But with that being said, there's also a coupon code in the link of the description of this video, which is going to be a coupon code to the Push and Profit program. Shout out to those of you guys that recently joined the program. I think you guys are going to have a massive amount of value coming from joining in the program. And for those of you guys that haven't already, essentially you have access to the private group, where every day I give you guys a daily briefing of what's going on with the overall market, and I talk about what stocks I'm looking to trade and why. And also there's also over 5 hours of video lessons of what I look into when it comes to trading and investing in the market. So definitely check out that link in the description of this video. But more importantly, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on a few things, right? What are your thoughts on inflation, right? Are we going to see inflation actually cooling off, or are we going to see inflation actually getting worse, which is not good, right? We don't want to see that. And also, what are your thoughts on Tesla going into, the end of 2024? We know we don't have a specific date for the Cybertruck, but we know that's coming in 2023. So you guys let me know in the comment section below. But with that being said, guys, make sure to watch this next video right over here, and I'll see you guys on that next video. Take care, guys.